Welcome back. So, I was with my boyfriend for 5 years. Around our 4th year of being together, we started fighting a lot. I mean, a lot. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of crying, and a lot of somewhat name-calling and just ignorance from him. I already know I'm in the wrong. I've been in the wrong for so long. But listen, I need somebody to know. I cheated on him because of those fights. I didn't know what to do because a boyfriend is supposed to come comfort his girlfriend whenever he makes her cry and vice versa. He didn't do that. Instead, what he would do was ignore me and just go play video games with his friends. While my friends were on the game with me, comforting me, telling me it's gonna be okay and to just leave him. But I didn't. So many people kept telling me to leave him because he's just gonna keep continuing to find something to be mad at me with. For example, one time I called him while he was gaming, just to see what he was doing. And when he answered, he said very rudely, "What the hell do you want? Can't you see I'm playing?" I hung up the phone call right then and there and cried. That was when my friends came back on the mic and they heard me asking what was wrong. And I told them. They said to get off the game to go cool down and get my mind off of him. But I couldn't. While I cried myself to sleep, he stayed playing with his friends and never bothered to check on me till the next morning and acted like nothing had happened. This is where I started to realize I couldn't trust him with my emotions and felt like I couldn't tell him how I felt because my emotions were going to be inferior to him. He had a bad childhood. I felt as if when I tried to tell him how I felt, he wasn't gonna care. Fast forward to Christmas of 21, we get into an argument over my best friend saying that my best friend was going to give me COVID and I was going to give it to him. Well, see, here's the thing. My best friend is in the Marines and they won't discharge anybody if they're sick. We got into this huge argument over my best friend coming back home and me wanting to hang out with him. Finally, on December 23, as we were arguing about my best friend, I said, "I can't do this anymore." I think he might now ex too as I was breaking up with him. On Christmas Eve, I didn't talk to him all day because I wanted him to just chill out because it was a stupid argument over my friend, and I didn't speak to him until later in the afternoon. This is where the breakup process started. I left him alone. I didn't talk to him or anything because I wanted him to chill out. But when I finally texted him, he was honestly an a-hole to me. The next day, on Christmas Day, we didn't really speak much, other than being busy. A bit later that night, I got ready to go be with his family, as that was the plan way earlier in December. That night, he broke my heart after telling me that we weren't gonna do anything. I spent all that time in makeup getting ready, just for him to tell me that they weren't doing anything. So then I told him, well, at least come get your gifts that I have for you. After I gave him his gift, that's when he broke up with me. The reason was because I cheated. I know I was wrong for doing so, but hopefully you see it wasn't willingly easy to tell him anything. A week after we broke up, he texted me apologies for a whole week. I kept saying it was fine, but deep down, I was still crying. I was really upset. I'm not gonna say depressed, but I did feel really down a lot after the breakup. Then New Year's comes in and he started drunk texting me. And me, being the stupid one I am, I called him and he told me that he wanted to see me and all this and that. So the next day on New Year's Day, I went to go see him that night. And it was the biggest mistake I ever made because I ended up seeing him for 6 months after the breakup. I don't know why I did. After that New Year's night, when he brought me home, I cried, wondering if it was just going to be like this. He was just going to use me for adult activities. He told me no, but it continued for 6 months. Around shortly after my birthday, I started to catch feelings again and hoping it would work, but it didn't. But before that, I'm getting ahead of myself. I kept saying how much I was missing him and all that after the breakup. Because of the fact that he told me a week after we broke up, keep in mind, after the night we did stuff, he told me we could get back together. Why would you say that as somebody you literally just dumped on Christmas Day? Anyway, fast forward 7 months later, me and him have done nothing but fight lately. He says he's done and everything, but I've tried to be a nice person to him. I've let him use my HBO account for so long so he can watch the Black Adam movie when it comes out, but he's been nothing but so mean to me. I don't know if I can even trust in using my account, let alone being able to decently talk to him. I'm trying to move on. I've been trying to since the breakup. Even when we were still seeing each other, I was on dating apps trying to figure out what I wanted. I only wanted him, but he doesn't want me. I'm trying so hard, but I don't even know where to start. I spent 5 years of my life with this boy. I can't call him a man because he doesn't act like one. I just need this off my chest. It hurts too much to keep it in. Let alone try to explain to him that he's the reason that I cheated when he keeps getting constantly drunk and not wanting to listen to me and just call me insults. Thank you for listening. I'm still slowly healing. To add, we were on and off quite frequently. He did actually break up with me after my cheating, but he came back to me about 2 to 3 months after we broke up, asked me out again. Then we were together for 5 months before we broke up again. He continued to see me and talk to me for some activities at night for 6 months. If he's emotionally unavailable and causing you pain, it might have been better to end things and take time for yourself to figure out your next steps. If you ever feel tempted to cheat, it's best to communicate that you're ending the relationship and explore other options or focus on yourself. It's not worth resorting to cheating or violence, regardless of the other person's actions. Cheating cannot be justified. The mature thing to do is to end the relationship and move on. If you see cheating as an option, what guarantee do you have that you will not cheat again in the future? Barely even got past the title. There's no justification for ever cheating. It doesn't matter if you wanted to break up with them, if you were done with the relationship and didn't end things yet, if you were not broken up and you slept with somebody else, there is absolutely no way of justifying that behavior. Yeah, my ex always talked about how cheating was unacceptable under all circumstances. And then when her sister-in-law cheated on her brother, she justified it because he wasn't there emotionally for her. Her own brother. That always rubbed me the wrong way. I felt like she always held men to a different standard than women. Men were unfaithful people. She even mistrusted me despite never giving her any reason whatsoever that I would cheat. That couldn't be trusted. But women always had an excuse. Really rubbed me the wrong way. If you're going to believe something and hold other people to that standard with no exceptions, then don't make exceptions when it happens to someone you prefer it's okay to do. Story 2. We've been married for 3 years, and whilst he's been the kindest gentleman, he's never been able to satisfy me sexually. I've tried everything to avoid wandering from the marital bed, such as masturbation, toys, and even having my husband wear a male strap-on. But he simply doesn't have the X factor in the bedroom. This frustration eventually led me to reaching out to an old flame, and we had a secret affair over the past 6 months. I would typically visit his apartment on 2 weeknights after work, giving my husband the excuse that I was working overtime. During this time, I found an immense amount of sexual satisfaction. He is utterly incomparable to my meager husband. However, I feel a tremendous amount of guilt. I would feel horrid if my husband had chosen to lay with another woman. Not like he would satisfy her anyway. I talked to my friend about this, and she urged me to confess. I couldn't believe she had no empathy with my situation. And so, I plan to confess, but not in a way that implicates me. More in a way that shows my husband that his lackluster manhood has led me to pursue other men, and that if he wants to keep me, he must be open to me with laying with my lover. Can anyone advise on how I can best approach this conversation with my husband? Comment. What a ridiculous troll post. I can't believe that anyone would take this story even half seriously for even half a second. Also, get a dictionary. Half of your words don't make any sense the way you chose to use them. And they're not words that would pop up in translations. It baffles me that sex would be so important to someone that they'd actively go behind the back and betray in such a cruel way the person who loves them. I hope this post is fake because, quite frankly, your cheating and complete lack of compassion or maturity to take responsibility for your own actions outright makes you a total POS, undeserving of love. Sit him down and tell him you have to talk about something serious. Then you just say to him, life's too short, and so are you. After, since that will get his attention, tell him you're fucking others and he simply has to accept it. And I hope he divorces you after this, because life is also cruel, and so are you.